Hello and good afternoon, good morning. Hello everybody, this is Billy Cultist. And I'm today going to be making a little demonstration of how to create your own planet. Now I started with an empty scene and I have gone into sculpt mode. And what I'm going to do is grid snap this right to the center. This is gonna be our planet. I'm gonna go with a sphere, a perfect sphere. Even though technically there's supposed to be a thing about planets where they're not perfect spheres, but we're not gonna get into all that in this. We're just gonna make ourselves a planet. I'll size it up a little bit there. A little bit. I'll make it as big as that thing. That circle in the grid. So you just stamp it out. Like so, and then I'm gonna turn off grid snap because we don't need it for now. What's gonna be going on is mainly, first off, this planet I'm making today, this is mostly gonna be for if you were making a cutscene or something. It could be a live game or whatever, but you wouldn't want to get closer to this planet probably than like this. At the detail level that I'm going to be going for. It is possible that you could make a planet with more, that you could go, you know, real close in like this, and you could see tons of detail, but that's going to be more work on your part and more thermo eaten up with that detail. But you know, if that's what you are fine with, you could do that. It's not like you couldn't, but what I'm going to be going for today is something where you're probably not going to get closer than like high orbit. That's all. We're just gonna go ahead and get into painting this, which is what we start with. Now I'm gonna make a planet that's got vegetation, but it's not mostly water, not like Earth, so if that were the case, I'd be doing something a little bit different. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint the surface, and we might have some lakes or rivers or something, but we're gonna make this planet kind of a little bit of dry. I'll start off with a base color, but I want to have some vegetation. Put kind of a, actually let's put that, no, that's too dark. Let's go with some orange. This is an alien planet. Of course, this is not a real planet we know of. It might exist, but let's go with some orange. And we're not going to be doing Mars, of course, because it's going to have vegetation, and Mars is real. I would have to look at a map of Mars to make Mars. I want the vegetation on this planet to be reddish. It's going to be kind of a similar planet to the one in my first and only game so far that's made by me pretty much exclusively. Let's see. So we're just gonna kind of paint in some areas. I am gonna turn off this floor because it's in the way. Gonna paint in some areas. I may not actually go all the way around this planet either because of, well, time and the fact that I typically, when I make my planets rotate, they rotate very slowly, and you'd have to sit there for a long time to see the other hemisphere, so on my rotation speed. So yes, we will just forego that, but let me put some dark areas. The dark areas in to be kind of like, I guess, some mountainous terrain. And this right now we're doing is not detail work. It's gonna be, let's get a mountain chain kind of thing going up through here. This is not detailed work at all. I'm also gonna do a thing where we're generally speaking, not the opacity down a little bit, but generally speaking, our planet's pole is going to be somewhat more rocky and mountainous, I suppose, than the equator region. It's kind of looking like Mars, isn't it? It's not gonna be like Mars. We're gonna have water, some water, and we've got this red is like red growth forests or something like that. I'm gonna turn on the lights. I'm gonna do the same thing to the South Pole where it's somewhat darker, and I probably will end up putting some ice on there, but first we're gonna go with this this business. But this with the paint spray paint can. This is like this is not a high def details. This is not at all. We're just kind of getting a rough idea of our planet's features. And if you have trouble coming up with ideas for features of planets, I suggest you look no further than actual planets. You can look on Google Images for, you know, shots of some of the moons of Jupiter, Mars, some of those planets, or even Earth. You know, if you're doing a planet with vegetation, Earth, your best example for what that might look like, you can just change some of the colors around and some of the land masses and maybe the amount of water or something, you know, but this planet's not going to have big oceans like this, though, I'll tell you. Like I said before at the start, I would have used a different approach to start that. And I'll talk about that a little more later. Alright, so it's getting a look. I kind of want to put like something down here. I'll just darken that a bit. And then I'm going to go back in and do some negative space work where... Let's turn that off. Get kind of some features. Like big... I don't know. Well, it looks kind of neat though. Got like a big kind of crater-ish thing there, I suppose. Yeah, you can kind of use the negative area to get more effects in there, but I'm gonna kind of speed up this bit so we can get to the next bit, which would be painting. Okay, so we've got some nice surface detail, rough surface detail on our crazy red planet now. And what we are going to do now is do some more specific detail, more intense detail, more high definition detail. This is rough detail. We want a little more sharp clarity kind of. So what we're going to do is make a painting. We're gonna definitely put it on Surface Snap for this, but I tend, when I'm doing a planet's features, tend to like to use the splat a lot, but you can use other, of course you can use anything you think is necessary. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take colors from the planet, pick them with the color picker, and then take our splat and, well, we'll just leave it on brush flicks. We're gonna kind of go in here and do some of this kind of thing. Because what this does, it gives you those like little high def points you might need. It's very cool. I like it. I like the effect. Now, of course, this goes back to what I said about this not being like, you can't get super close to this planet. Because, of course, you know, you get too close in, and I mean, out here, that looks pretty good. But if you're in here, maybe not so much. See, so you'd have to either make a more high-def planet, or what I would do is probably, like, cut off the section and do some Hollywood stuff. Cut to a scene where I use the section that's more high-def, where like your asteroid or your spaceship or whatever is closer to the planet. Something like that. But you know, a seamless ground to space in Dreams would, not gonna say that'd be impossible, but I'm gonna say that'd be pretty tough. Probably be pretty tough. No Man's Sky kind of thing would be pretty hard to set up. But anyway, we are doing these details with this paint. We're gonna kind of do this kind of thing. And I'm gonna show you how I would do the rivers and such, because I said I wanted to put some water on this planet. First thing I might do though, I will go back into the spray paint mode. If we're gonna do like river or waters, I might kind of go and get like the color, darken it just a touch, and kind of like maybe where I'm gonna have the water coming in, put some of that like so, because that's kind of a thing that looks good from my view. Well, we're gonna do that. We're gonna have some water coming through here and like that. Let's kind of make it like long lines here on this end of the planet. It's like the canals of Mars and those old things about what Mars would have looked like. I think I'll put like a big old lake right in here, or a sea kind of thing. A big old thing there. But, you know, not everywhere. Those are our largest rivers. But what we're going to do now, we are going to go back to paint. But you want to start a new painting. You don't want to go into this one. Because what you're going to want with water, of course, is you're going to want to have a different reflectivity or finish. So me, I personally would either go with shiny wax. I would maybe go with, I think I will go with the flat metal in this case. We're on that. And for the river, I probably will use the standard square fleck setup. But you just draw a river on there. Kind of follow them dark lines. You don't have to have the dark lines. I just did that because I thought it was visually nice. You got your river. And to be honest, actually, here's the thing. Pencil works really good for the river too, because you can do some cool, like, have it kind of, yeah, that looks very, you see? That looks very nice. But that's how we'll kind of do our rivers and other features in paint. And when I want to do other features in paint, I'm just going to switch back into this one. And I'm going to be like doing the same thing I did, which taking colors and make sure that's not on metal, because we don't, unless you want the snow or whatever to be that way. It's about what kind of light reflection you want to get with that, but I don't particularly want that. And we're gonna add some detail. We're just gonna be basically doing this kind of thing all over the planet. And what if I want to take and do some of, you know, with the areas of the forest, do the same, add some more kind of definition to the features as I go, like so. Or even up in the mountains, kind of climbing up the foothills, like so. But that's basically the gist of what's going to be happening. I am going to again speed up this painting process for a bit so we can go ahead through and we will get to putting, I am going to put a cloud layer on this planet. So we will get to that after the painting bit I have seen to. So we're going to be speeding up now. Okay, so I got the rivers pretty much where I want them. So all this lets is doing a little more of this kind of paint detailing to the surface with these colors here. And I'm gonna probably speed through that, but after that we're gonna hit the cloud layer, which can be a little tricky, but I'm gonna go ahead and get on with this paint detailing here. So we're speeding up again. Okay, so now basically I've got the land features. It's not necessarily as detailed as it could be or as much done as it could be, but I've got it in a place where I kind of like it. The rivers is in place, the other stuff is in place, and what I'm gonna do now is move on to the cloud layer. And the first thing I want to do, I'm gonna go into this planet and I'm gonna set it on non-collidable and take down the imp interaction and physics cost, because I don't intend on having any of that stuff happen to it. So, but I'm also gonna take my paintings, the rivers and such which are on its surface, group that all together. So it's a single object essentially. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the group. I'm going to put surface snap on first. I'm going to go into the group and I'm going to take the planet itself and I'm going to clone. And I'm not going to move it. Now we got the clone. I'm going to grab, it really doesn't matter which one you got, grab it in surface snap and then remove from group. So now one of them's not attached to all that stuff anymore. I'm going to turn surface snap off. This can be tricky and very fiddly, getting this other planet clone. Now there's our clone. I'll take that back. What we want to do is we want to resize it so it's just a touch bigger than the original. And that can be fiddly. So we also want to align it right on top of the original as best we can, so try to do this. That's pretty good. Okay, we may have actually lucked out, and let's see. How far up? I'm gonna turn it invisible for a second. The preview. That's pretty good for such a quick one shot at that. That's pretty good, pretty dang good. I'm gonna go with that for this. It probably could be a little better maybe, but it would take more fiddling. But that's pretty good. That's about where you want it, all the way around. Yeah. It's all basically on target. That's pretty good. Okay, so what I'm gonna do with this outer one, just for safety's sake, I'm gonna get the color. Well, the sky is blue. This is the sky, basically. We're gonna turn it up. It's not gonna be visible in the end. This is just so that we can work without making mistakes with our other planet. Somehow, mishaps. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go and we're gonna do similar to the surface. We're gonna go and take our paint, start a brand new painting. Probably gonna use the splat. For the clouds, I will typically go with a wax finish, but you know, it's again, it's really up to you what you're trying to get. Try different things out. You may find something you like better. Paint, yeah, that'll work. Surface snap, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna just start painting cloud patterns on this outer atmosphere shell. And this, to me, can be one of the most tedious, boring parts of this thing, because it's just clouds. You're just painting a... I mean, you could change the color. You could be like, well, there's different gases in the sky and such, but it just takes... And it's not that interesting to me. It's fun when you get it finished, but... So this is basically what we're doing. We're going to be kind of like, well, there's some cloud banks, you know, there's some clouds there. And me, I'm not going to go all the way around on this one, because of course, they're going to be turning very slowly, but this is basically what I'm going to be doing until I get to the finishing part, which is setting up the rotation for the cloud shell and the planet itself so that it rotates on an axis. But this can take a while, and until then, I'm going to speed through this again, speed it up while I'm painting clouds, so... Okay. What we got there is a pretty good demo cloud cover for the planet. Of course, again, if I was doing this full on, making a full planet, I'd probably want to do this all the way around, just like the terrain features. But for the purposes of this demo, this will work pretty good. What you're going to want to do then, when you got your clouds sufficient and as you like them, of course, you're going to group them with the big atmosphere shell sculpt clone. And I'm going to go into that. And I'm going to turn. Oh, also, cast shadows on this atmosphere shell. Never. Do not have that on. You don't want that. And turn it invisible. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Fairly nice. For such a thrown together thing. So, now for rotation. Rotation is key, and it's not that hard. Not the way I do it. You're only going to need a couple of rotators. So, first things first, I am going to hide this outer group. So we got our planet. Gonna go in and I'm gonna take move as an output, get just a simple basic rotator, and I'm gonna stamp it on the pole. You don't actually have to stamp it on the pole. It would work anyway, but because this is a perfect sphere and everything, the rotator's rotation center should be directly at the core. That's exactly where you want it. And grid snap. Turn that up so we get it rotating sideways like we would like, and I'm definitely not going to have it rotating this fast, although you certainly could if you wanted, for whatever your own reasons might be. I'm going to reduce it down to like 0.3. Quite slow, but to me that's more cosmic. And more like a planet. That's what I do all the time. So we got the planet rotating. I'm gonna unhide the atmosphere group. And if you haven't already guessed this, we're gonna do the exact same thing to it. Stamp a rotator on its pole. Because it's a perfect sphere, rotation is gonna be at the exact center. Grid snap. Turn that up. And I'm gonna take the rotation. I'll make it a little faster. 0.5. So faster than the surface below. It's going in the same direction. You could reverse the direction of the cloud rotation if you so choose to. It might make a cool effect or something like that. Might be what you want. But for me, I'm not going to do that. We are going to take... And we are going to... turn preview and visibility back on, of course, so we can see it like it's supposed to be seen. Let's see. And it is rotating. It's rotating very slowly. Additionally, what I'm going to go ahead and do is probably get myself a sun and sky. We can get that looking nice. That looks nice. Kind of a sun. The planet sun, and I'm gonna make it like those photos, you know, the space, pitch black. We got a planet. Now this is going on here with the clouds because they're not quite fully close enough to the planet, and it may also be the wax. I am gonna test that out and see. Maybe I do not use wax typically for these things, but let us go and let's get rough. Let's see if that fixes that. Yeah, that fixed it. You don't want wax. I am sorry, people. I gave you a horrible, deceptive, misleading set of information. Don't use wax on the clouds unless you want it to do that at the night line. because that's what's doing that. Just use rough. It'll be fine. But there we go. We got the planet from space. And the rotation, the clouds, and the rotation of the planet. You got your rivers, see, and they reflect a little more than the planet's surface. You could even turn the planet's surface rough if you wanted to heighten that even more. Look like water. But it looks nice from this view, you know. If you go too far in, it's gonna lose fidelity. But if you wanted something to be like that, you could do the extra work, go the extra mile, and use the extra thermo. But that is our planet demo. I'm probably going to be going ahead and dumping this. It's just a demo. But I do have something for you, which I will show you right now. This is it. It's Earth. And Earth is a real planet, of course, that we all know. And which made this fairly tough. Because, of course, I was trying really hard to get the continents shaped and proportioned right on the surface and everything. But, it spins. I used the same principles as I just used in the demo previous. I took, a lot more time to make this. But, this is fully remixable, and you can take this and use it and study it. And this is an example of what I would do if I was doing a mostly water planet, like our own. Instead, the surface is just blue and metal, like matte metal, like the water. And the continental land masses are painted on it. So that's typically what I do if I'm doing a more water-covered planet, rather than the one I was doing earlier. And of course I did the clouds, and with the Earth, I did the whole thing. Even though you can't see it right here, the clouds go all the way around, and the entire eastern hemisphere is painted on here as well, with Asia and all the other continents thereof. But yes, it's available for remix, and I hope you find it helpful. I hope you found this video helpful in some way, shape, or form. If you did, we would appreciate, at the cult, a subscription from you and a like on this video for me. But that is about all. Quick thanks and shout out to the 100 subscribers. It's not necessarily the biggest milestone ever, but it is a milestone, and we appreciate it a lot. So thank you, and goodbye for now. Oh, also, this Earth, Marty Cultist is gonna leave something in the description to help you find it. So, yes, there is that. But anyway, bye-bye.